very excited about the topic today. I know it's hard to pull away for an hour sometimes, especially, I don't know what your guys' weather is like, but out here in Montana where I'm at, it's gorgeous, a little windy, but it's super duper nice for it being almost October. We're 80 some degrees, and yeah, I feel like we all should be out riding horses and gathering cattle, but we're going to learn a little bit today together, and I'm excited about that. So, I'm Justine Kogel. I am a program officer with Akiptan. We are a native community development financial institution. So if you're not familiar with us, jump on our website, check it out. We have lots of things to offer. And I just always want to make people aware of the things that we have and what we do. Our entire organization's role is financing native agriculture. We build our programs around that, we build our loans around that, and we're located on the Cheyenne River Sioux the tribal reservation in Eagle Butte. Our mission is to transform native agriculture and food economies by delivering creative capital, leading paradigm changes, and enhancing producer prosperity across Indian country. So, what we actually do, we are focused on a lending philosophy that exhibits long term patient capital. We are able to do innovative financing, which we love. And the biggest thing that attracts me to my job and to this organization is that we get to work with producers one on one to help find a solution with the producer, not for the producer. We really view this as a partnership when we have clients come on board with us. And so just know that that's really what we do, and that's what we focus on. With that, here are some of our, whoop, see, and then I get too click happy, guys. Here are some of our numbers to date. So we have been around for just about 5 years. So really, we're pretty young in the organization and CDFI worlds, but we've been able to commit over $27 million out there in lending capital. I love that. I love that number. In 5 years, that is amazing and outstanding. We are 399 loans, meaning, I mean, that's 399 loans for operating, loans for equipment, cattle, land, out there helping our native producers. And I love that part of what we do. So if you're not familiar with our products and services, at the beginning of our webinars, we always like to kind of give an overview. We have a lot of different loan products out there. We work with youth. So if you have kids coming up that would be interested in native agriculture, send them our way. We'd love to help them get started, teach them about business finance and things like that. We also do a lot of planning and helping our clients with business planning, financial literacy, future succession planning. And just to give you guys kind of an update, right now our interest rates are way lower than what you're going to find anywhere else. So we have ability to have those lower interest rates for different payment styles. And really, the focus is to get that working capital back into the producer's hands. So today, our webinar is going to be focused on stress management for your agricultural operation. We call it "The Grass Used to Be Greener on the Other Side." Basically, in the fall for my family as producers, it is so stressful. I always feel like fall is just that time where everything is happening, right? We're harvesting, we're getting all the crops put in, we're getting the hay put up, winter wheat's going in, we've got cattle that need gathered and out of the hills and shipped. We're meeting with the tax accountant and they're telling us what we need to do or what we shouldn't do. And it's a stressful time. I think that in agriculture, we're very cyclical. And so I think this is just a great time to be reviewing some of these points and ideas. So the daily stress on our operations can be overwhelming at times, and it truly adds to what we're doing on the farm and ranch every day. Some may say you just deal with it. Um, just deal with it. It's fine. It's a phase. You're going to get through it. But is that the best way to manage our emotions and our health? Um, if we don't take a look at these parts of our life, I worry about how that affects our decision making, how it affects our livelihood and our relationships. So we really want to focus on taking that proactive approach to caring for ourselves and caring for our partners and our businesses and our families. I love this. Monica McConkey says, "You are the biggest asset on your operation. Invest in yourself." We have to take care of ourselves first. I always like, whenever I fly, and I don't like to go places very often, but whenever I fly, I love when the airplane stewardess says, put your oxygen mask on first and then help somebody around you, even if it's your kid. And to me, that's so core of what we need to do. It's so focused because we have to take care of ourselves first before we can help others, before we can help our business. So that's really what we're going to focus on today. I'm going to ask for some feedback from you guys because I always like to get other ideas. A lot of this is stuff that we've researched or that, we talk to other producers, and this is what's worked for them. And so we're going to give some ideas and talk back and forth a little bit here. So overview of what we're going to do today. We're going to go through a few statistics because I think it's really important to see where the world around us is at. I always like to know that I'm not alone. And I think that's really important. We're going to talk about some of the stressors that we all experience. We're going to talk about the effects of those stressors and then getting ahead of it. How can we, ourselves here at home or on the ranch kind of combat all of that stress that comes down into our worlds through agriculture. Disclaimer, I am not a professional. I am not a professional in stress management. We are offering information to help. Really want to make sure that if anyone needs additional resources and references, reach out to us. We will do our best to put you in touch with folks that are professionals and get you into a direction for additional assistance. So we always like to put that disclaimer out there. So here's some statistics. Now, I will tell you, I wanted to put on some of these pages, some of the things that, stress me out from things that, we've done on the ranch that maybe weren't OSHA approved. But we decided maybe that wasn't such a good idea for liability. And we don't want to give anybody else ideas that maybe, could put us in those stressful situations. So farmers are exposed to a lot of hazards, in case you guys weren't aware. Every day on the ranch, on the farm, I mean, we're exposed to anything from, grain bins, silos. Let's talk about the chemicals. How about just operating the heavy machinery? How about cattle or horses or livestock in general? All of these things are hazardous, right? And if we don't take precautions, and are aware of the safety measures that we should be taking, we do get exposed to that, and that is a stressful situation and can really cause harm. The data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that the agricultural industry is consistently at the highest risk for occupational injuries and fatalities, with 453 fatalities in 2021. That's an equivalent of 19 and a half deaths per 1,000, or excuse me, per 100,000 workers. That hits home for me, you guys. I don't know how many of you guys have experienced loss due to something that has happened on a farm or ranch, but this year our family did. And I think, sometimes we overlook those things. Um, and we're trying to get all the things done. We are so busy. We're wearing so many hats, and sometimes safety does get overlooked. And so we just want to recognize that. We just want to take that moment in the presentation to realize that, we're in agriculture and what we do is amazing, but there are hazards that come with it. And I think it's good to be aware of those things and recognize that, it's okay to say, hey, whoa, I need to take a step back. Or in my case, like for me, I'm like, whoa, I need to go step back, have a glass of water, and walk around the house because I'm gonna freak out or do something, because we're stressed out. We're just trying to get things done quickly. The average age of a Native American producer right now is 56.6 years old. We're not as young as we once were. Um, you know, Hopefully we'll see that average age decreasing as our next generations come up and want to be in agriculture, but we're not getting any younger. And so we really need to focus on, using safety practices, taking care of ourselves, and making sure that safety is a priority. So producers, such as ourselves, wear many hats every day. I feel like some days I wear more hats than I even own, and I own a whole lot of ball caps, which is a little bit scary. The challenges in the operations vary from everything that we do. Uh, Many of the challenges can really start wearing us down. We talk about machinery breakdowns. Let's talk about the expensive machinery breakdowns, much less the time that they're taking up. Market changes. I know this is something that we watch closely in the cattle world. What's it doing? Is it up? Is it down? Should we be selling? Should we hold? And trying to make those decisions and really figure out what we're supposed to be doing. Things like bad weather, hot weather, like we're experiencing right now. Who would think that it's going to be 95 degrees in the end of September? Working in isolation. For some people, they thrive in this. Other people, it's a struggle. The financial stress, the time management, the making sure the family is taken care of and the cattle are taken care of and the fields are taken care of. These are all things that are challenging for us as producers. And we just really want to think about that. So when you guys are thinking about that and we go through that list, does anybody have anything that really comes to mind? On other challenges that cause you stress within your operation? You guys can drop them in the chat. I'm going to try and see if anybody wants to talk. Just raise your hand and I can take you off of mute, I think, as I'm attempting to operate this. Some of the things that I try not to stress about, but that do weigh heavily on me and our family is interest rates. It's something I can't control, but I'm always so focused on interest rates because I feel like interest rates really affect everything in our world as agricultural producers. This year in particular, we've been doing a lot of tax planning because what is that going to look like if we sell calves before the first of the year and we waited like last year to sell calves after the first of the year? We don't want two calf crops on the same tax year. So how do we adjust for that, but yet still get bills paid? Another thing that really, is a challenge for me is, will my kids want to take on the next generation of agriculture? Will they be interested in that? So those are things that come to mind when I think about challenges that cause me stress and that cause my husband stress. So if you guys think of anything else, go ahead and drop that in the chat box there. So what happens when we aren't addressing stress-related issues? What happens when we're all fine? Everything is fine. I'm fine. I don't know if you guys have ever said that, but that's something that goes through my mind a lot. I'm like, nope, I'm fine. I'm good. We're going to get through this. We're going to push through. I wish there was 18 of me. I wish I had 4 more hands. But this is some of the things that happen, and the research says it happens. We get tired. We get exhausted. When we're exhausted, that's when those accidents happen. Tension, we get tensed up, crabby. I get crabby. My husband gets crabby. Yes, winter weather, definitely. My diet changes. I'm horrible. I mean, I don't want to be horrible about my diet, but I am horrible, you guys. When it comes to fall time, it is Snackville, over at my house. What kind of snack do you want? Because we're going to just live on snacks. Uh, Depression, anxiety. A lot of us, especially like I'm up here in Montana, a lot of us get seasonal depression, even not on the ranch, because the sun goes down early and I wake up and it's dark and I go to bed or get the kids and it's dark. And so those things, weight gain or loss, health related conditions, substance abuse, these things are real. These things are what happened when we try and de-stress, um, and we're not addressing the actual challenge. So when we talk about that, there's different warning signs that really come to mind and that we can talk about, right? Changes in my mood. Now, I don't want my husband to pull that card and be like, "You're real crabby today. What's going on?" Right? And I don't want to tell him like, "Hey, take it down a notch, bud." But we notice those changes in our moods. Motivation has changed. Sometimes when we're stressed and we have those challenges and we're not seeing the light and we're not seeing the positive side of things, our motivation changes. Our sleep patterns get disrupted. Um, I know just a couple years ago we made big decisions and sold our main operation to move to a smaller operation, and the feelings of sadness and hopelessness is so real. Stress in your relationships, whether it be with a partner, family, your children, colleagues, and making abrupt decisions. Those are all things that are warning signs of that, as that stress builds and we're not taking care of that. So, do any other warning signs really come to mind for any of you guys? Feel free to raise your hand, drop it in the chat. Um, I actually visited with my sister, who's also a rancher. They raise cattle in central South Dakota, and I was asking her about this because I really wanted to make sure that as we presented this presentation, we came from all different areas. So interviewing some different ranchers and things like that. And one of the things that my sister said I asked her about this, do any other warning signs come to mind? And she's like, yeah, I call it adult ADHD undiagnosed. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, the adults in her agricultural producer circle, both male and female, all seem to suffer from this. And she said it's simply going from one project to another, to another, to another, but never actually getting things complete. And I said, that's my life. Um, so I don't know if that relates to any of you guys, but I did like that. I feel that when we're getting stressed and we have the to-do list is so long that it's hard to focus, I feel like we jump from one thing to the next because we're just trying to get little pieces done. Um, and one of those things, it might really help if we just took a step back, said, okay, we got to focus on this project, or have somebody in our circle that can help us to focus on one project, complete, and then move to the next. So, how do we get ahead of it? How do we manage things to decrease that stress? This is not going to work for everyone, but these are some tips that we found from some professionals. And I feel like they are worthwhile to mention, or else I wouldn't be talking about them here. But maintain a good routine for rest. Evening and morning routines are essential. And whether that be, relaxing 30 minutes before bed, or making sure that, you sit down as a family before, for supper, and it's going to be at 6 o'clock every night or 7 o'clock every night, and set that nightly routine for yourself. I like this. Adopt new techniques for relaxation throughout the day. A few things that we have kind of installed in our house, I guess, as far as producers, are ways to do this. At 7:30, 8 o'clock, everybody should be in their own bedrooms, and they should be either reading or journaling or sleeping on school nights. And it just is a calming time. Now, in the morning, on the other side of that, my husband gets up at 5 o'clock every morning without an alarm. It's one of those things that I'm like, I wish that was me, but kind of not really. And His morning routine sets the tone for his day. He gets up, he goes and makes his coffee, and he wants to sit down and he wants to not watch but read the news, and he will read the news and read the weather and go through world news and all the things, but he wants it all done and he wants a quiet 30 minutes before the rest of us really get to going. And so that's a way that he decreases his stress. He plans out his day during that time. What's it going to look like? More than likely it's going to change, but he starts out with a plan. And I think that's really important when we talk about managing our day-to-day life things to decrease stress. For some people, it's making a list. It's making a list and being able to scratch those things off the list. Um, so other things, reach out to a counselor, a family, or a friend. Um, Sometimes that's really one of the hardest things to do, but if we can connect with other farmers, ranchers, things that or people that have been through similar experiences, whether the markets are really down or we're dealing with not so great weather patterns, and talk with them, really get an idea of how they've gone through it. And I always like to say, like a mentoring rancher, neighbor, somebody that you trust like that, can really make or break a person. And it doesn't have to necessarily be, a relative, but somebody that you trust that you can pick up the phone and talk the weather and kind of shoot the shit a little bit with, and realize that we're not alone in this big agricultural world. Talking with a counselor. Uh, we're so lucky to live in a day and age where we can go someplace to talk to a counselor, or we can do it via telehealth. There's so many opportunities and options to really help distress our life situations and get to the root of why we're feeling that way. I touch base on this mentor mentee. I feel like that is something that needs to be reiterated because, um, you know, having that type of a relationship with somebody who's also involved in agriculture is just a mutually beneficial thing. Um, and I feel like I know several of you on the call, and I'm so very excited. And I hope you guys feel like you guys can always reach out to any of us at Akiptan. We're here to discuss your ideas and your business, and really just be there for you through the business and through agriculture. So just know that. So also, I wish I could say that this was part of my daily life, and I'm trying to be better about it each and every day. But prioritize our physical well-being. Um, Healthy foods. I do try every day to throw an apple into my mouth and take it on the way while I'm dropping kids out to the bus. A banana, something like that. Something that gives my body the nutrients that it needs. Adding physical activities. Uh, and I always giggle at this because I'm like, do you mean hauling fence posts up a mountain physical activities? Or do you mean running from the mama cow who just tried to eat me while I tagged her calf physical activities? But really making sure that we are being physical. I think a lot of times we don't realize it because we're running around so much trying to get all of the things done on the operation, but sometimes we end up being stagnant a lot, especially if we're, if it's haying season, if it's crop season, if it's harvest season. We're in tractors. I'm in a truck a lot, whether we're pulling hay in or moving cows. And so making sure that we just take that time to take care of ourselves. Stretch for 5 minutes every hour. This, I can't tell you how important that is. I have a desk job that I do during the day, and I am so glad that one of the things that we do here at Akiptan is, every Tuesday for 15 minutes, we go through kind of a series of stretches that we could do throughout the week, to really make ourselves, stronger in that sense. And just be intentional about our physical activity. Go for a walk. It doesn't have to be a long walk, but I mean, get out in nature a little bit. I feel like that always helps. For me, I like to go out and just be with my horses. That's really soothing for me. Uh, get organized. This is where we talked about the list, right? Making a list of to-dos. whether it be something that you start with in the morning and you make your list every morning, or you make it before bed. I'm one of those that I have lists literally all over my desk, but I have to have them and I have to do it at night, or else I cannot seem to get to sleep. It just gives me some peace of mind that I have my day laid out for tomorrow. And granted, a lot of times when I wake up and after my husband has had coffee, he's like, "This is actually what we're going to do today." And then that wipes my whole plate clean. But, it's one of those things that I have to start somewhere. Um, my sister lives with a calendar. Her entire, I don't think she could function without her calendar, and nor could their ranch. Um, and then phones. Phones are a necessary evil these days, but I do use my phone a ton for task list, for making sure that I am getting my things done, that I can check them off on my little task list. My husband sets an alarm at 2:30 because he's in charge of school pickup. And if he doesn't have his alarm set, he will forget to get the kids. And so it's a way to help keep us organized. Um, I do love the alarm feature because let's be real, there are certain things that I would forget if I didn't have an alarm set for them. So additional things that we wanted to add in here. Spiritual or religious spaces. If that is something that speaks to you and helps you, utilize that. Make time for stress-free fun with family and friends. Now, that being said, I'm not sure my family got the memo on stress-free fun. I have a teenager and a tween, and I feel like every time we try and go somewhere, until we get to the car, it's a stressful situation. But it's taking the time to be together with one another. Find a hobby. How many of us have hobbies that are hobbies outside of ranching? I tell my husband sometimes, I said, your hobby is ranching. But honestly, like, find something that you enjoy that isn't directly on the ranch or focused on the ranch. Maybe it's training horses, and that's just part of what makes you tick. It makes you happy. Um, I think a lot of times we struggle to find those hobbies because we don't take time for them. Talk about the things that are hard. Talk about the things that are frustrating. Sometimes just being open and having an open line of communication with somebody, a best friend, a sibling, anybody, can just really make a difference. And then take a look at your current sleep routine. Um, if you're not getting enough sleep, it is going to cause your body stress whether you know it or not. I love this one on here. Listen to music. We had a discussion this morning in our program department call on music, and I just absolutely loved it because we all like different kinds of music, and music does something good, it feels like a lot of times. So listen to some music. Um, but there's a number of other ideas here, and I just think as we talk through some of this and really talk about it and put names to things, I think as I look at this, I'm like, ooh, the third one from the bottom. Third one from the bottom here, guys, is my like nemesis. Are you spending too much time on your screens before sleep? Sometimes it's putting the words out into the universe to make you realize that, oh, maybe that's part of why I'm struggling to get to sleep, right? Because I'm sitting there looking at a screen and maybe it's Facebook. I'm really guilty of scrolling Facebook mindlessly. And that's probably not healthy for me. And so it's taking a look at that and saying, how can I adjust? How can I make things a little bit better for myself? So I'd like to hear from you guys on this. What are some things that you currently do to manage your own stress? And I wish there was a way that I could take all of you guys off of mute here. I'm going to try it. There. I think you guys can all talk. If you want to come off mute, I'd love to hear about ways that you yourself try and de-stress. Because I know everybody loves hearing me talk, but and I already gave you guys some examples of mine. My big thing is I like being with horses. If work gets too stressful, I'm fortunate enough that I'm home. I can literally walk out to the corrals and I can go love on a horse for 5 minutes and come back in and be like, okay, I'm going to get my poop in a group and get refocused. I wish that I stress cleaned. Do I have any stress cleaners in here? Skaya Dushno, the executive director for us here at Akiptan, she is a stress cleaner, and I wish I would have gotten that genetic like ability. It's not my game. The other thing that I really like to do is I get lost in books, which is dangerous because that can be a time suck too. So sometimes I'm like, nope, just 10 pages. I just need 10 pages of a good historical fiction and I'll be good to go. So those are some of my ways that I try and manage my own stress. We're going to get back over to where I can skip to the next page here. Um, so I want you guys to really know that if you guys have any resources or need any resources, come to us. This is what your entire programs department here at Akiptan is for. We are really here to focus on helping each and every one of you as producers. And, in any way, shape, or form, if we don't have the answers, we will find them and help you find them. So, talking about the statistics, I go back to, 19 out of 100,000. Um, that's a staggering statistic for me. Um, it's what we do in agriculture, it can be seen as hazardous. And when we add stress to that, it really makes kind of a blown up combination. And so when we talk about stress, when we talk about our health, um, it's a real thing. It's a real thing, and having the stress that we have in agriculture as a community, and understanding how that affects us, I think is incredibly important. Um, so I hope that you're going to come away from today with the ideas of how to get ahead of that stress, how to recognize it. Um, we talked about, seeing those warning signs and recognizing those warning signs in others. Is our anxiety way up? Are we not getting things done that we typically would be getting done? Are we spinning circles? I feel like I spin circles all the time. And how can we get ahead of it? Is it making a list? Is it taking 10 minutes to go outside and just be outside? Is it, going and spending that 5 minutes with a horse? Uh, any of those things can help with reducing the stress in our lives and giving us the appropriate time to really focus on our occupation as agricultural producers and focus on the safety of what we do and how important that is for us as well as the next generation, because again, if we don't put our oxygen mask on first, then we can't help anybody else. So we have to take care of ourselves. We're the core, so that way we can take care of our business and others. So that kind of ends our mental health and our stress relief webinar, guys. I'm going to go through a little bit of information from our market study as well as some other opportunities that we have coming up. Um, we love our market study findings. This was done in 2022, published in 2023. But one of the biggest things that this market study did was identify needs and barriers for Native producers across the United States. So all of you, $43 billion, billion. I always say that. I'm like, not million, but billion dollars in unmet need for just Native American producers. That's solely just in Native American agriculture, 43 billion. We're trying. As and that makes a big light shine down on, we showed you guys on that slide earlier that we are able to, we've got 400 loans basically out there. We've got $27 million out there in lending capital, but there's a whole big need out there as well. And so we're doing our best to meet that. 43 producers were wanting more knowledge on land issues. One of the things that came out of this was only 27% of participants have a succession plan of some sort, an estate plan, a will. Um, that's something that we're working on. We have resources for you. And so we always like to highlight that because we just we want everybody to know, like, what we're doing, we are doing it with purpose. We are doing it for a reason, and it is for Native American agriculture. A couple of partnerships that we want to highlight here. We have the USDA Regional Food Business Center partnership, as well as the IAC National Intertribal Food Business Center. They do a couple different things. The regional one is specifically Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota. I know a couple folks on here aren't in those areas, but you yourself have your own regional food business center. If you want help finding that, please get a hold of me and we will definitely point you in the right direction. The IAC Food Business Center is in progress right now. They are doing the last of their surveys and really working on how they're going to utilize the program and the funds to help producers. So stay tuned for more on that. This one here is super cool. It is up and coming. This is a program through Akiptan specifically, and it's our regenerative finance model. So this is our Climate Smart Agricultural Innovation Finance Initiative, which is a mouthful, but it's really cool, you guys. This project is going to be a forgivable operating loan for native producers. And in addition to that, what we get to do with this is education, outreach, marketing, and TA. And that's kind of the part that I live and breathe. But what we are doing is we are offering climate smart loans that are designed to allow producers to build your balance sheet and increase cash flow while implementing climate smart practices. So these practices are going to be in conjunction with NRCS standards. And we just want to make sure that you guys are aware this is up and coming. It is not completely open yet. We are finalizing wording and details and all that good stuff with USDA, but it is going to be up to a $250,000 loan with an option for loan forgiveness with the following or the appropriate reporting happening. So if you want more information on that, reach out to us. We will definitely get that to you. If you guys would like to build out or participate in the survey that we have going on, go ahead and scan that QR code right there with your phone. If you don't do the scan thing and the QR code with your phone, just get a hold of me. I think most of you have my information, but it'll be on a following sheet and we can get you that survey. And that's going to really help us to finish building out the program as well as get in touch with you to know what your needs are. Eligibility for this finance model. Your farmers must provide partners with authorization to obtain a subsidiary print. You know what? As far as this goes, I'm not gonna read off this. What happens is you're gonna have eligibility of needing your FSA track maps from USDA. That's gonna be part of this, so you'll need those. And then you're going to certify that you have control of those lands. And we're going to work with you to make sure that if you are participating in any NRCS type programs, that we're not double dipping on the funds. So that way we can enhance the practices that are being done, but we cannot pay on the same practices that you might be utilizing NRCS for. We're lucky today. We have Craig Harry on our call with us today on this webinar, and he is our expert in this. So if you guys have questions, like I said, get a hold of us here on the program side. We will answer them. It is a great opportunity. It does come with some reporting requirements, so just keep that in mind as we go forward. So, our youth programs, for any of you guys who have youth in your lives, whether it be you have children, you have grandchildren, you have cousins, you have nieces and nephews, you have neighbors, here are some awesome opportunities. Oh, Craig just dropped his email, you guys. So, Craig's email is in the chat. If you want to get a hold of him on that program, go ahead and email him. Thank you, Craig. On our youth program side, these are going to be coming up here in the spring of 2025. So keep your eyes open. These are great opportunities for our youth to explore their business sense and we can help them with that. So we do have scholarship funds. We have an internship program as well as a business plan contest. So stay tuned for more. Other resources that we have. If you guys didn't know we have these, get a hold of us. We have these in print. We have these online on our website. I love this one, the Financial Management Guide for Cattle Ranchers. It's very specific. We have a cohort coming up that will start in November. We started it and then people got busy, so we moved it to November in hopes that we can have a little bit more time together. So scan that. That's a great resource. If you have kids, again, we have a specific one for young entrepreneurs. And soon we have our native agribusiness financial management guide coming. These next two are near and dear to my heart because they are my programs. So I'm going to brag them up a little bit here. We have the succession guide. We talked a little bit about like how future planning can be super stressful and cause us anxiety and angst and all of those things. We've created a resource that can help you start that process. We have it both in hand because I'm one of those that I need a book. I need to be able to actually feel it. So we have those both physical copies and online, and that will help you get started with your succession planning and that transitioning for your ranch or farm. And then the rancher record keeping book is something that I recommend that any and all agricultural livestock producers have. We do have room in there for other livestock other than just cattle. And so it's got everything in there that you might ever need to keep a record on, whether it be treating a sick cow to where you moved your salt. Really a great resource for you. And mind you guys, these are all free. So these are all at your fingertips to use. Monthly webinars. Our last webinar, the last time you're going to see my face in a group, no, just kidding, but is going to be November 1st. Now, this is a tax webinar with Rob Holcomb. We do this every year. The reason we do it every year is because the tax codes continue to change. And so Rob's going to give us a rundown of what our tax codes are looking like. So make sure that you register for that one on November 1st. It will be recorded as well. I know a lot of us are doing our tax prep right now and our tax planning, so that way we can, try and mitigate as much taxation as we can. That webinar will be a good one for you to attend. And, not last, almost last, but we do have free financial planning information. There are a ton of different guides, a ton of information on business planning, financial planning. If you need a business plan, we've got that. When we have career opportunities, it's on this website. And so I really want you guys to take note of that. We're really trying to push that out there so you guys have full access to everything that we have and that we're developing. And last but not least, our newsletter. I love to promote our newsletter, and I tell people that if you want to get in on any of the cool stuff that Akiptan's doing or other native agricultural organizations are doing, it is in the newsletter. So by all means, get signed up for our newsletter, whether it's using this QR code or jumping onto our website, because it is going to be there and it is going to give you all of the information that you might ever need when it comes to our programs and our loans and what's up and coming.